All right, cool. All right, I'll do a little intro and then we'll get into it, okay?
Cool.
It's gonna take like...
That's the fucking best
There's
B-roll.
no way. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to start a segment called Tell Me About It. The first one, we're going to be here with one of my best friends and my boss, Lawrence, talking about his 1980s Porsche. So my first question for you is, how long have you had it and where did you get it?
I've had it since 2019, and I got it in a really small town in Texas.
Oh, word.
Everyone at this point kind of knows what Bring a Trailer is.
Yeah.
But that was
okay.
pretty early on in Bring a Trailer days, probably the first couple of years for it being relevant, where people started to kind of know what it was. It wasn't like as a kind of like an underground thing. Now it's obviously like
blown
giant.
Up. Yeah, it's huge.
But
sure.
It was kind of a smaller, lesser known thing, and I had just been kind of scoping it out, and I actually was on the way to the mechanic shop to pick up my other car, and I was in an Uber battling on this auction.
Oh, word. Okay.
For this car. I didn't think that it was going to pan out whatsoever. And as I walked in the mechanic shop to get my other car, I was like, man, I just want a car. I guess I got to go figure that out.
I got to go figure out how to get this car home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, where in Texas, if I could ask?
I don't really remember off the top of my head. Maybe Carrollton or something like that. It was a really small town.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere like, I think it was outside of Dallas, roughly,
okay.
if I remember right.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So why did you pick this platform specifically, and kind of what drew you to this car or the Porsche brand in general?
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird story. I feel like it's a little bit different than most people that are into these cars, from what I understand. But I was working at another training studio before Rockwell, and when I was working there, I started training a guy who was a big Porsche fanatic, always had been. And he pulled up in a gray Cayman one day.
Oh, okay.
And I had zero interest in those kind of cars. I always like looked up to muscle cars, or maybe like trucks,
Yeah.
That's what I grew up driving. And for some reason, when he pulled up in the parking lot that day, my jaw dropped.
Yeah,
and I was mesmerized by the car.
Sure.
And I asked him, I said, what is that? Because a lot of people, they grew up with like the poster on the wall.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone was obsessed from a young age. I actually
my first favorite car was the 80s era 911. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Somehow I missed that boat, embarrassingly enough.
Sure.
So he explained it to me. He goes, well, the Cayman is kind of like the 911's little brother.
Yeah.
But he goes, true car people know that it is a driver's car.
Still a Porsche.
Yeah, right, and it's respected by people that are into driving. Even though it could be looked at like the discount 911.
Right. It's a budget way to get into a Porsche, if you will. Sure.
And I completely ignored that aspect of it, and I was like, dude, if you have that, you're a baller.
If you drive a Porsche, it doesn't matter what it is, you made it, right?
Feel like rusted out 914, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So that kind of got my eye on it and got me thinking about it. And sure enough, 2 or 3 years later, I had left that training studio and opened the gym. And right at that same time, that guy, his name's Marty. Shout out to Marty Heilman. Dude's like, he's the best, man. He's like basically been a mentor to me, and a great friend ever since I started training the guy. But when I opened the gym, he said, hey man, like it takes balls to do that. And he goes, I want to see you be successful. And I know that you really like that car. He goes, I'm actually getting a brand new 2015 Targa.
Oh man.
And he goes, I'm going to sell you my Cayman.
Nice.
So
okay, cool.
I said to him, I'm like, well, that's all great, but I'm broke now because the gym.
Yeah.
So I have
no money.
No money.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, it's fine. I'm going to give you an offer that you can't turn down, and I'm going to give you time to pay for it. And not only that, but I'm going to sell it to you at a price that you actually can't
say no to, right?
Yeah. So I was stuck.
Yep, stuck with, oh no, another Porsche, right?
So I got it, and I remember pulling out of that guy's garage, and I immediately put on Rick Ross, just like,
naturally, as one does.
Yeah, and I pulled out of there, and what's funny is that the first several months of having that car, I honestly had it because I was like, man, it just feels like credible, it feels like a version of success. I feel good driving it. People think it's cool. Like that really was why I originally got it.
Anytime you see someone in a Porsche, you're like, I wonder what that guy does for work. You know what I mean? Like it's always a question of like, he made it somehow, some way.
So that was my like version of faking it, like hard, but whatever,
so who cares? You're in a Porsche.
Yeah. So that was like initially what did it, but what's funny is that when I started driving it, getting it on 90,
Mm.
94, taking exits, going like
Opening it up.
75,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
safely,
Yeah.
seeing how easy it shifts and it responds, and just how smooth it was. And even going on road trips, that, like a lot of people that drive those cars say that like eventually you just kind of float. The car just
Yeah.
enjoys being on the road, and
Just drives. Yeah. Sure.
yeah, and like it's just this weird visceral experience. So
Hmm.
once I started realizing what the car actually was and how it drove, I started looking into previous models,
Sure.
other
Yeah.
years, doing
Hmm.
some research,
Sure.
and the '80s range for me is what stood out to me in the sense, I'm an '84. That's when I was born. So
Sure. Okay.
I don't know, maybe it was that, like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
that era of time, music, cars, culture. I don't know what it was, but that time frame stuck out to me. So I
Mhm.
started really like going down the rabbit hole and looking on auction sites and Craigslist and bothering people if I saw them out and about,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let
Ask
me
him
get your
questions.
car. Do you ever want to sell that
Yeah.
car? Like,
Right.
and I had
Sure.
a number of failed experiments. One guy I really thought I was gonna buy his car, and he passed away, and his son was down on money, and he Craigslisted it before I could even get a hold of him
Mm.
for like next to
Yeah.
nothing.
Wow.
And another time I went and looked at one in Chicago, and it looked halfway decent, and I got to it and it was a mess. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a money pit,
Sure.
for what the guy wanted, and so I think it was kind of fate though, because that led me to getting a good car off of Bring a Trailer. And ironically enough, when I got it off Bring a Trailer, I actually bought it with Marty.
Oh wow.
And I
Okay.
told Marty, like, hey, I don't have the money to buy this car straight up, and I know you like those cars. Let's split it.
Split the
And he
car.
actually split it with me originally.
No way. Okay.
And we
That's
had
cool.
a really dramatic situation with the mechanic right after I got it here. I couldn't get the car back for 4 months. Almost went to court
Whoa.
over it.
Okay. Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, and during that time frame, I think Marty kind of not fell out of love with the car, but I think he was like, you know what, I don't have time for this
He's
right
probably
now.
so annoyed at the situation
Yeah,
more
and
so.
so Marty basically told me, he's like, I really politely want you to buy me out.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Hey man, you owe me half of this car.
yeah, so I bought Marty out for a second car.
Yeah, that's the second car you bought from that guy. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he's the
Wow.
best, man.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's how I got it, and I guess how I chose it, and how I got into like having this kind of car. It's
Having
a very
Porsches. Yeah.
strange story, but yeah,
Definitely not a typical or straightforward story, but a cool one. You know
yeah,
what I mean? You got
yep,
to kind of share that with somebody as
yeah,
well at the
absolutely,
start,
yeah,
specifically. So you have two of Marty's cars. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So yeah,
yeah,
should have him sign it.
yeah, exactly.
Sign the
Just
dash.
somewhere
Yeah.
like where you can't see it
Yeah. Right.
underneath the hood or something.
So that leads me to the next question: Is this a like starting from or graduating to car? Is it more of a project of yours that you want to see complete and then have, or is it a stepping stone to get you somewhere else?
It's a little bit of both. I
Mhm.
mean, in the short term, I guess next couple of years, I would say it's probably a project car in the sense of, like, I'm sure you think about your car or your vehicles the same way,
Mhm.
where I want to give it like the utmost respect that it deserves,
100%. Yeah,
especially with a
absolutely.
car that's this old.
Mhm.
And so I'm slowly going through it and trying to not only bring it back to standard, but bring it back to standard, but an improved version.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
Hmm.
and so I have a few things left before it's at a place where I feel like maybe the project would be considered maybe not done, but
Right. Right. Right.
at a nice spot.
A point to where you could feel like it's complete, if you
Yeah,
will.
where
Yeah,
I could
sure.
be like, all right, there's nothing major that stands out to
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
So I have a few more things that I would like to do to it before it's at that point. But and I think I've told you this before, probably in passing. But my dream car is a 930 turbo.
Yeah. Remember, I was talking about that at the car club event that we went to
Yep,
with Grid Life and everything.
yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
So probably late 70s, early to mid 80s, probably
That's sick.
930.
Yeah, that's cool.
But as anyone that follows anything, those cars they just keep getting more costly over time,
Right.
and exponentially.
Every year, those cars, I'm really into the Fox Body Mustang, and like
Yep.
those are taxed already to high hell. And
Yeah.
every year, there's less and less clean ones,
Yep.
and so they're just more and more expensive. And it's like I've gotten to this point where I'm like, I need to jump on one.
Yeah.
I'll probably never own one.
I will see that you do.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Somehow, somewhere.
But yeah, so the long term goal is to get this car in a place where it's a finished project.
Sure.
Keep the Cayman in good condition. Maybe even make some improvements on that,
Mhm.
so that at some point I can sell both and then take out however big of a loan I need to.
Second
to,
mortgage, whatever you got to do.
yeah, to own a 930. So that's
Sure.
like the ultimate goal. And then the nice thing about that is that whatever 930 I end up getting, I will have to get one that I will have to work on all over again because I really don't want one that's perfect, and I also probably can't afford one that's
Yeah,
mint
so it's, I
either.
mean, it's kind of a win-win though, because you know, when I bought my car, I bought the base model on
Yep,
purpose because I was
that's
like, I
true.
don't want to go into something where it's already upgraded. Like I want to put what I want into the
Yeah,
car,
you
you
actually
know.
had your own version of that in a sense, where you
Yeah.
bought that base, improved it,
Hmm.
made it far better than it was.
Yeah.
I mean, by a long shot,
Yeah.
and then moved on to what you have now,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
and now
Same
you're doing the
thing.
same thing all over again with
Yep.
that car.
Precisely.
So,
It's get the car to a better point and then get the one that I wanted
yep,
at the starting point again, and then now I'm going to bring that one to where I think that it should
yeah.
definitely be.
So
So
that's a
yeah.
long-term goal. I don't know how long
Gotcha.
it's going to take. It might take 5, 10 years, could be 3. I have no idea. But
Gotcha.
I've always been, as you know me pretty well.
Hmm.
I tend to err on the side of being a little delusional
Sure. You
with
know,
things.
that's part of it too, is like, you know,
Uh,
in order to get to these grandiose goals, you have
yeah,
to be a little delusional. You have to
yeah.
set those goals that seem unattainable, right?
Yeah, so for me, that's kind of what it is. It's just something that is in the foresight, I guess, and I'll make it happen one way or the other.
Yeah.
To me, it's not an option. It's just a matter of when.
It's not a matter of if it's a matter of, or it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of if.
Yeah,
No, it's if, then how.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Matter of
yeah.
how. Sure.
So it'll happen at some point, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that is the goal. And I don't feel bad saying that. Like I'm not a car flipper kind of guy,
Sure.
and I've owned these cars for a long
Mhm.
time, and
They're
so
still your cars.
yeah,
They're not a stepping stone in the sense of
yeah,
like, I just need to get rid of it. It's like, no, I love this car and put a lot of time and
yeah,
effort into it.
yep,
But there's also just that intention of getting to that last final
yep.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
and there's a lot of sentimental, aspects to having these cars
100%. Yeah.
because of Marty and the gym, and just like you know me, I really didn't come from a great starting point,
Sure.
financially in my
Right,
life.
right,
So
right,
like
right.
to be able to even own one car like that, much less two, and have this big goal to get another car, it's like doesn't seem real to me. So I want to make
But
sure.
it's like, did any of this seem real when you started? Right.
No,
So it makes it
yeah,
that much more attainable because it's like, look where we already got. You
yeah.
know, look
So
where we already
I'll
came
make
to.
sure that whoever ends up with these, I want to make sure that they're on some similar level,
Yeah, absolutely.
wanting to take
Cool.
care of them and see them
100%.
long term,
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So that brings me to my next question here, which is, what did you do to the car? Like, what have you done, and what was already done when you got it? So, like, where was it at, and where have you gotten it to?
Yeah, so I'm very upfront about the car. I'm, as you know, not a big gearhead.
Sure.
I am slowly learning over time. I've been lucky to be around a lot of great people who have helped me get this car to where it's at.
I got to help. I got to put on the air intake. So
Yourself being one of them,
yeah,
and future things too.
yeah,
I think we're going to do a
100%.
lot of
Yeah.
things to it down the road.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, when I first got it, I want to say that it was taken care of in the sense that someone probably always drove it.
Mhm.
When something broke on it, they probably fixed it. Um, but it was probably more like, let's find the cheapest parts at AutoZone.
Yeah.
Let's find a Band-Aid.
Not fix it to standard, but just fix it to be used, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah,
So
sure.
it's weird because I kind of have an appreciation for that on one hand because it's so sad when people just have these cars sitting in there behind the garage
Right.
or like just it's not covered anymore and
Right.
it doesn't run, it's froze, I mean.
Sure.
So on one hand I was like thankful for that. On the other hand, once I got it and I started really getting into it, I was like, man, this thing is kind of a mess. Like
Yeah.
wiring is all jacked up. I think the battery even had the cables mismatched at one point. uh,
That's not good.
Wild, yeah, just crazy shit.
Sure.
Just wasn't being cleaned regularly. No upgraded parts.
Speaking of the no not being cleaned, it's wrapped. It's not the
Yeah,
original color.
yep,
Correct.
yep.
Yeah.
And that is a really funny part about the car because people were like, "Oh man, I really love that black color," and I'm like, "Well, it's funny because it's not actually
It's not
black.
That's not a
It's
black car.
actually
Yeah.
sunflower yellow or like a maple yellow. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what
Okay.
it's a paint to sample car.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out what that color actually is
Right.
because, as I've told you before, I want to bring it back to the original paint to sample, whether I like the color or not.
Yeah. Just keep it as original as we can.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's strange because under the hood, under the trunk, it's like an ivory color.
Hmm.
It's like an ivory cream color, off white. But then the rest of the car is sunflower yellow or maple yellow,
Hmm.
and then obviously the wrap is black. And I think the guy in Texas really just didn't want to have a yellow car. He was kind of more of a conservative, like quiet, low key guy.
Sure.
I
Doesn't
think
want to stand out, but still wants a cool car, but more subtle.
yeah, he owned like a garage door company, So I don't think the guy's
Okay.
like,
Not flashy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
and he seemed like kind of guy that liked like wrenching on cars and stuff. And I think he actually got this just to make a little bit off of it for another project.
Kind of the same thing you're doing, but maybe a little quicker, if
Yep,
you will. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So actually, it's not what it appears to be, but yeah, at some point we'll get it painted, the paint to sample, and so once I got the car back, I drove. So this is a great story. When I realized that I won the car, I immediately told Katie. I said, "Hey, we're flying to Texas, and we're going to drive this car back from Texas."
Oh man.
And when we get
Okay.
there to pay for it, the guy, the owner, said, "Dude, this thing hasn't even left the county, or for
Oh
sure the
wow.
state since I've gotten it." And the guy who had it before me, it was also in Texas, and I don't think it's ever left Texas, at
Sure.
least in the last
I got the undercarriage has to be immaculate.
couple decades. Yeah. So he goes, "I don't know if you're going to make it to Chicago," and I was like, "Well, we're going to find
We're
out."
gonna try it.
And
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why I chose to do it that way. Maybe it was the cost of trailering it. Maybe it was like I wanted to experience the drive in that car.
I did that with my truck. I
Yeah, you
flew to
did.
Phoenix and drove that thing home with never saw it, had never taken a look
Yeah.
at it. I had them pop the hood right before I finally signed for it. And I was like, I guess. And
Yeah,
then
it's
I
kind of
drove it home.
exhilarating and
Yeah.
also obviously risky,
Yeah.
but it handled the road just fine. Me and Katie chose to go through Arkansas,
Mhm.
where her hometown was, and we drove through dirt roads, like real dirt roads.
Wow.
Saw some of the prettiest stuff down south that I've ever
Sure.
seen. We stopped by, took pictures with abandoned cars in
That's
Texas and
awesome. Yeah, that's really
Arkansas,
cool. Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
this, and
Oh, those farm roads, dude, like there's just all over the place.
it's
It's
cool, right?
one on each side every time. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that, and then when we were in Missouri, kind of like on the last whatever little quarter of the trip, we hit one of the worst thunderstorms I've ever drove through,
Nice.
and that was stressful.
This car's not that big. I don't know if you guys can see it behind us. It's a very small car.
It's pretty
Yeah,
tiny, man.
it's not a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, anyways, when we got back here, I think I had it for like a week, and it was really hot because at that point it had been like late June, July,
Mhm.
and it started having a hot start problem.
Yeah, okay.
And but if I let it cool down, it would start.
Mhm.
But if it was hot, then it wouldn't for like 20 minutes. Took it to a mechanic, and that was what I alluded to earlier, where the mechanic originally got the car in to fix it for a hot start problem, and then I don't think they knew how to actually fix it. And
Sure.
so what had happened is that they actually did a top end rebuild without letting me know.
Yeah, you told me about this. Yeah, yeah. They just started doing it and you were like, "Hey, what?"
Yeah, and I just wanted to get my car back because it started to turn into 1 week, 2 weeks, and it turned into 3 months. And
We know something about
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, you have your own. I feel like it's
Yeah.
just part of having cars and dealing with car people.
Yeah.
You just sometimes can't get your vehicle back, and
Yeah.
it gets scary,
It does.
and you don't know if your car is still there or not. You don't know what's
You
happening
don't know
to
what's
it.
going on with it. Yeah, sure.
So I ended up getting a lawyer involved, got my car back, and that was what led me to taking my car to Midwest Performance Cars,
Okay.
and that's Andy and Andy's shop, and he runs it with a couple other guys now, but they took it over and basically finalized the rebuild, make sure it was all good, make sure everything was bolted down
Hmm.
correctly. Um, so that was the top end rebuild that I kind of had like sort of done against my will,
Yeah,
but
you
I'm
didn't really
thankful
pick that, but yeah.
thankful that it worked out the
Uh-huh.
way it did. I've done the exhaust. I have Fab Speed exhaust, and then I have the Elephant Racing suspension
Okay.
on it now. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
done last year. That was done by Euromechanica, Tom and Email, and we have done a lot of electrical work. We've done a lot of small things here and there. New tires. Just got a new windshield recently.
Yeah, and it's tinted on the top with a little sun strip. That's really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it
And
looks good.
Tom had instructed me to get this particular windshield rather than just the basic one that you could get that's kind of cheaper because it sort of um, gives like the feel of the original OEM
Okay.
windshield, the way
Yeah.
it's made, the way it sort of fits in the car, the way it looks. It's a better, clearer view.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And if you ever go to resell the car, if someone cares about that, I'd rather have that
Something
checked
that
off.
something that someone who wants the car is going to notice versus just some random person kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
so that's off the top of my head, bigger things that have been done to it
Yeah, sure.
since I've owned it,
Nice.
and a lot of the band-aided things, a lot of the weirdo things that you would just pick up at a random car shop are now
Yeah.
off the vehicle.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So
All the AutoZone like Pep Boy special kind of stuff is gone. So,
yeah,
Okay.
yep,
Cool.
yeah.
Very
So
nice.
now
Yeah.
we're clear of that.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So my next question is kind of piggybacking off the last one. Is what are your plans for the car, I know you mentioned before it's kind of a project, but what is the finish point? Like, where at what point are you like, this is the final stage of what this car is going to be?
Yeah, probably the final stage of the car is I'm going to get it painted next.
Hmm.
Probably maybe 2026, early 2027. I've done a little bit of research through some people that I trust of who it may go to. I can't remember the company's name, but
Sure.
I've asked a lot of people, got a lot of opinions, and I think we have one that it's probably going to go to.
Nice.
Once I find out what the actual paint to sample color is, I'm going to go through Porsche for that.
Nice.
I had our, Alyssa. I had Alyssa who
Yes.
works for Porsche out in the burbs. Look it up, and that's where the maple yellow came from. But I want to call Porsche and badger them a little bit more to make certain that that's what it
Yeah,
is.
get like a final definitive answer
Hmm.
from a few different people versus one person be like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's this kind
yeah,
of thing.
just
Yeah, sure.
and that's mostly because there's a couple colors on it. If there wasn't a few that
There's
I,
three of them, right? There's the black, the yellow, and then the
yeah,
ivory, which you can actually kind of see in the wheel well too.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yep, yep. It's kind of a dirty ivory right now,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah. So that's the next move with the car,
Mhm.
and then getting the interior going. So
Sure.
right now the dash, it has a cover on it, but the dash actually looks like it got cracked from the sun.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get a new dash. Um, the seats in it aren't too bad, but I don't think they're the best of the best for the car.
Sure.
So we're gonna get new seats. We're gonna redo the interior.
Okay.
I think the next thing on there is probably fix the air conditioning.
That's
Um,
important. It's about to be hot in the summer here in
yeah,
Chicago. So
and the heating in it is okay, but I think that it needs some love just because if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I believe the way the car is heated is that it takes the heat from the exhaust and cycles it into the actual cab of the car through a filter.
sounds healthy.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good way to keep your longevity up to par.
Yeah.
So, but I wanna look at that. I want to check the filter. I want to see if that system's doing good. When you run the heat on it, especially in the wintertime, it's pretty cold.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm going to work on the AC, the heat. There's a few odds and ends in the interior that are, just little things that kind of bother me.
Sure. Yeah.
I think there is some minor rust inside the door on the driver's side. It
Mhm.
looks to me like they may have just left the window down when it rained for a while,
Oh, wow.
or
Okay. Yeah.
something, or maybe where the water kind of comes down off of the windshield. There's supposed to be um,
Like a duct or something.
like a
That, yeah.
duct or a
Okay.
drain, and
Okay.
it's possible that drain could have gotten clogged and then sent it into the door.
Yeah, the water just sits
But
there. Sure.
part of that door is probably going to have to get redone.
Yeah.
But those are kind of the bigger things that I think would get the car to a place where if I wanted to sell it to get that goal car, I would feel comfortable selling it to someone, doing really everything that I could on it,
Sure. Mhm.
but also selling it in hopes of getting the most out of it so that I could get closer to my goal car.
Right. Right. And you don't necessarily just want to sell the car. You want to sell it to someone who knows what they're looking at, and that
Mhm.
is going to take care of the car the way that it should, versus someone who's just like, I want to drive a Porsche,
Yeah.
and is kind of like looking to get in for that low buck kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
it's someone that understands what it is, and thankfully, um, since I've owned it in 2019, uh, Targas weren't hated back then, but they weren't like the
They
cool
were sought
911,
after kind of thing. Sure.
But because the 911s and other Porsches have blown up so much,
Mhm.
the Targa now is not really
People
considered.
just want one. They don't necessarily. They can't be picky, right? Beggars can't be
Yeah,
choosers,
even
kind
like
of thing, right?
928s and like 944s at this point, and even some of the early 2000s 911s that people don't like
Mhm.
are now starting to become pretty sought
Yeah.
after. And so thankfully, I got a little lucky choosing the right car. It's actually gained some value,
Yeah.
not only in what I've done to it, but just the sheer age of the car and the
Demand,
brand.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And that's really what I like about Porsche too, is that you can look at it as an investment of sorts, even
100%.
though you know how expensive it is to have cars. But
Getting the car is usually the cheap part.
yeah,
So
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
awesome, cool. All right, so the last question I got for you today is, what is your favorite memory of the car?
Favorite memory of the car is probably that trip to Texas that I
Yeah.
was talking to you about, just because.
So just getting the car was the best your best
Yeah,
memory.
it was
Yeah. Okay.
so random. The whole thing was so random, and that trip was, I've done a lot of things in my life where, like, looking back on it, I was like, I don't know if I would choose to do it that exact way again. That probably
Sure.
wasn't the smartest, best way to go about
Live
it.
and learn, though, right?
But
Yeah.
I am happy to have the story. I'm happy Katie went with me, and kind of everything that Katie and I do, like, we just trust each other and roll with it, support each other, and there's not a lot of doubt there. There's
Sure.
not a lot of what ifs. We
Right.
just go out and take care of it. And so that was a cool memory of me just spending time with Katie in the car and going through all those back roads and just the, the challenge of a long trip
It's rough. Yeah,
in an
sure.
old car that like some people wouldn't even take to the grocery store,
It's a
So
manual too, so you have to drive that manual the whole way across the country too. All those winding roads, I'm sure that was a nightmare
yep.
at times.
And it's a very picky manual to drive. The car, it really only accepts you shifting at certain RPMs with, a certain amount of gas and timing. It's not like the newer um, sticks where you can kind of shift whenever you want, however you want. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
sure.
It's very finicky. It's easy to stall. Um, third gear can be tough to get into depending
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
So it was a big learning curve for me and figuring out how to just use the stick.
Yeah, how
But
to drive the car, right? Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
but by the time I got to Illinois, I was pretty decent
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite memories with it. And then most recently, it was last year at Checked It Out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I That was the first show that I had ever been in and ever put a car in. And shout out to Adam and Dan and Andy, who I had mentioned before, but they
Hmm.
run Checked It Out, and it's an amazing car show. So it was just crazy for me to be able to put a car in that as my first show, and it's like one of the most respected Porsche shows in the
In the
country, and
nation at this point, right?
maybe
Yeah.
maybe like throughout the world.
Wow.
It's a fantastic show, and not only was I happy to be able to put my car in that, but like what I learned from going to Checked It Out since I think it was 2019 or 20 no actually 2017 2018, that I always viewed Porsche or those car shows as kind of like a stuffy elitist,
Yeah,
like you're only good enough if XYZ.
yeah.
And thankfully, because of people like those guys that I mentioned, and really a lot of Porsche people, I realized that I'm like, none of that is actually true. It's just what you think it is from the outside.
Yeah.
And it was a really just crazy cycle to see me be able to put a car in that show. I mean, they let me podcast with them at that show,
Yeah.
and just making friends. Like, you know how
Yep.
it is. Like, you go to car shows and
Yep.
car events, like, everyone just wants to hang out, talk about cars. They're the most friendly people on the planet.
Yep.
And that was like a very big win for me to realize that like you don't need to be afraid to put your car into shows. And it
Mm-mm.
doesn't need to be anything special or perfect or great. You just need to show up and put your car in there, and chances are you're probably going to meet people that are going to want to help you improve your car.
They
Like
want to talk
you,
to your car. Yeah,
you're
100%. Like,
you're almost more
yeah,
passionate about my car than I am.
100%. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
I am all about cars, man. I love cars. I went to a car show when I was living in Texas, and I parked next to, on my left side was like a Chevelle or something like that, like
yep,
an older Chevelle, and then a Bel Air, I think like a
yeah,
56 Bel Air or something like that, rolled up and parked next to me, and I'm like,
damn,
damn, I'm sitting
legendary.
next to this like iconic piece of car history,
Yeah,
and then there's my 2016 plastic
yeah,
Mustang, you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Yep,
But it's the same thing, I just got out and we started, this guy who owned the car, I can't remember his name, and we
yeah,
started
sure.
chatting about it. He just, we started talking about what we did to the car, and like he's like, yeah, I painted it myself. There's a run here, there's a run here, but if you take two steps back, you can't tell. Just stuff like that. Where
Yeah,
like these people just they care about their cars and they work on their cars from the heart. It's less about
yep,
like, anyone can buy a car, but
yeah,
to build a car and put money into a car like
yep.
that, it takes something special.
Yeah,
You
and
know
it
what I
just
mean?
goes to show you the guy who pulls up, like, with this like largely impressive car
Mhm.
right out of the gate is like, here's a flaw with that car, but
Yep.
I did it, and you
Yeah.
can't really
Well, he was
tell.
happy about it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, yeah, it has a run here, but you can't really tell. And I'm proud that I did
yep,
it myself versus paying a shop however many
yeah,
thousands of dollars to spray it for me.
yeah. It's kind
So
of an
yeah,
example that most of the people, if not all, are going to be like that.
yeah,
So
mhm,
that to me was a great memory, and
yeah,
just was like a good sense of freedom to like want to do more things like that. And I mean, even just sitting here with you talking about this is
yeah,
another example of like, just try it out, have fun, like don't worry about it so
yeah.
much.
Just give it a
So
shot.
so
Yeah,
that
sure.
was a
Yeah,
pretty huge one for me, and
yeah.
I'm going back this year. I think you're going with me
I am.
in August, so
Hmm.
that was a pretty good memory, I would
Yeah,
say.
100%. My favorite memory of Lawrence's car, I have two. One was working on the air filter in my garage in Logan Square.
Yep.
He came over. We were in and out in like an hour. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
That
fast.
was a quick one.
Yep.
And then getting the car ready for the show that we went to for Adam's birthday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was cool. That was one of my favorite memories of that one too.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you really like kind of show me the ropes with how to like wash a car,
Mhm.
and you're detailing cars now,
Yeah.
and it was nice to kind of see the proper way to do it,
Yeah. Mhm.
and just doesn't take a lot of extra time,
No.
but it does make a really big difference.
Yeah, it's just that little minor, extra time and attention to detail can really just make things just stand out that much
Yep.
more.
Yeah, and that birthday party, I think it was at Grid Life.
Yeah,
Was,
the Grid Life headquarters, which
yeah,
is in Chicago. Nobody knew that. So
yeah, that was a blast, and just seeing like all those drift cars,
super cool.
um,
Yeah.
weirdo vans
That
galore.
purple van, the slammed van, dude. That's one of my favorite cars I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Yeah, I think it was awesome.
And then that photo of you, I don't even know what kind of vehicle it was
Oh, that
outside.
little Honda Street thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was like basically a closet on wheels.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was a good
that
time.
was so cool. Yeah, awesome. Well, I appreciate you chatting with me about your car and
Yeah,
telling me about it. And
absolutely, anytime.
I'm going to do a bunch more of these, so stay tuned for the next one.
Yeah,
Cool.
thanks, man.
Excellent. I appreciate you, man.
Sweet.